The buzz of a fly, the whir of machinery, and a spreading pool of blood as a man lies in pain. And elsewhere, a hand falling from a fridge before beginning to move. This is our introduction into the world of I Lost My Body. Let's take a step back and talk about animation. Western animation has been dominated by the likes of Pixar, Disney, and DreamWorks, with their blockbuster films, which while some may become classics and treasures for many, myself included, due to their imaginative characters, warm, good feel vibes, and frequently catchy musical numbers they provide. Often, in current day, they can feel like they're holding back, working with a familiar, safe formula, not willing to push the boat out into uncharted waters. While the world of anime far to the east may be more adventurous on the whole, exploring a wide range of genres, demographics, and styles, I feel the majority of it falls into a similar trap, being anime for the sake of anime. One always knows when they're watching an anime. The characters and voices, aesthetics and tropes are very distinct, and while there are outliers, or even those that make full and excellent use of these qualities, there are a plethora of mediocre series that simply seek to capitalize off of tried and tested formulas. I'm not saying these issues are unique to animation. All forms of storytelling media face equal trials. The fact is that the majority of work will simply fall into the category of average. However, due to the fact that animation is still a relatively niche medium, it makes sense that unique works come along less frequently. Now, I know everything I've said sounds quite pessimistic. This is obviously somewhat of an exaggeration. While it is not to the same scale, there are animated films that are made outside of America and Japan, as this example shows, and either way, the state of animated content in today's world is not as desperate as I may make it out to be, though there are definitely issues about it. I think the recent success of series such as Arcane in the West could potentially be a catalyst for the medium to be revived. With that said, we return to the topic of this video. I Lost My Body to me feels truly different. If you're unfamiliar with animation, you might perhaps ask for the purpose in going to the effort. Why not simply act out the parts of the real people? I tend to find there's a unique draw to something that's been animated, as though the slight removal from reality. Watching a story unfold through the lens of a drawn or 3D character, as opposed to a flesh and blood human, helps to highlight the humanity of it. There are two intertwined stories in I Lost My Body. Naufel, the man we saw on the floor, and the hand in its journey across Paris after finding freedom. Naufel's parents were killed in a car crash when he was a child, and the foster family he finds himself adopted by aren't particularly caring. In present day, he's discontent with life, working a minimum wage pizza delivery job which he has a poor record for, and the earnings of which he has to give over to his foster. A chance encounter starts a change in his life. A crash in his job leaves his bike damaged, and his delivery delayed, and when he arrives, he finds that between a door that won't open and oncoming rain, he's trapped in the entrance hall, with only the voice of Miss Martinez on the intercom for company. He apologizes for the delay, explains his predicament, and a simple question catches him off guard.
La pizza et moi, on a eu un petit accident pendant le trajet. Disons qu'elle n'a pas survécu.
Rien de grave?
On dirait une pizza, garnie d'une autre pizza qui aurait déjà été mâchée par quelqu'un
J'ai
avant.
parlé de l'accident, ça va, vous vous êtes pas fait mal?
A single question, an unexpected moment of care, of humanity in a life that's made him forget what it's like. From here he's given a second chance, or perhaps takes a chance for himself, inspired or pushed on by the faceless voice on the intercom. I like how the film manages the mystery of the hand. It never feels like details are being purposefully kept out of reach for drama's sake. There's a meaning behind each choice. In fact, if you were to watch the film again, you would find that the mystery was clear from the start. The details were just obscured enough so as to be indistinct without knowledge. As the hand journeys further, we understand more what led to the separation from its body. But the reveal is not the focus of the film, and it knows and avoids making it so. When we do find out, it's not so much a surprise as a confirmation, the past catching up with the present. There are a few examples of animation, of film, that I've seen that make better use of visuals and imagery than this. Imagery that only gains or accumulates meaning on a second watch. Scenes featuring the hand are often interspersed with black and white segments of the past, memories of the movements and motion of the life the hand led before. Dreams are gently dreamt and actualized, without them being forced to our attention. That which may seem impossible can in fact be within our reach, though perhaps it needs a bit of imagination. The film is quiet, contemplative. In our journeys with the hand there are no vocals, and equally when we accompany Naufel, many scenes let the visuals do the storytelling, whilst use vocals in a simply functional manner, with some key scenes being outliers of this pattern. From a description, perhaps that would seem dull. How can you tell a story when you let speaking take a back seat? But animation is visual. It shines when it takes focus. Why make your story visual if you won't take advantage of what that brings? What is possible is not restricted by the limitations of a real world. Animation is a world of its own, where hands can walk by themselves, and the limit is that of the creator. The visuals alone more than carry the load left where voices normally fit. The film is made with a combination of 2 and 3D techniques that come together to create a unique aesthetic. Colours are often fairly muted, rising up to highlight scenes. Camera angles bring the space into focus or come in close to underline tension or movement. There are many, many scenes that stick in my mind simply due to their composition. But despite the limited dialogue, it's far from silent. The soundtrack hovers in every corner, every crack and crevice of this film. There's a haunting, mournful, vast feel to the music. Listening to this sets off fireworks down your spine. It swells into the silence, filling it with an atmosphere that's almost palpable. It has an underlying theme of space and melancholy. The music accentuates every scene it's part of, capturing the atmosphere and running with it, weaving another layer into the tapestry of the film. I Lost My Body is lonely. It's hopeful. It's thoughtful. Contemplative. It's about life, being lost in the turbulence of everyday worries and troubles, a forest of concrete and brick. It's a moment in time screaming, "I am here," a desperate attempt to be noticed as the world whirls around, and the message that sometimes from that confusion, something beautiful can emerge. I've been wondering about the meaning behind the film for a while. Perhaps there isn't one. Perhaps there are many. Perhaps it only means what it means to you. Is it about passion? Finding belief in yourself? About escaping the restraints we in society place on ourselves, or finding your own meaning? Of outrunning fate, giving it the slip, and running without looking back, staying just one step ahead. It has a feeling of simply being a snapshot into life during the brief encounter between two individuals, capturing bizarre and unpredictable nature of life. It comes just as silently as it goes, without fanfare or drama, reaching into the void, finding footing, and simply taking another step. And where does the film lead? What happens from this point? To me, that doesn't matter. It's about the here and now, life as it happens, a crazy mess of unpredictability, where your life can be thrown in disarray as quickly as a car ride, and where salvation is as close by as the voice on the other side of the intercom. As simple as the question,
J'ai parlé de l'accident, ça va, vous vous êtes pas fait mal?
I love this film. I think it's a prime example of what can be done with animation, one that highlights the limits so often placed on it by the preconception that animation is for children. There is a lot of potential that hasn't been explored, and while films like this show that there are those who realise that, and whose work may help to change the attitude, it often feels like it's largely unrecognised. Whatever the case, I adore this film. It is a gentle delight, and should you choose to watch it, I hope you enjoy.